The first $100,000 is the hardest to save. That's a common mantra on wealth-building blogs and investor forums. And well, yes, it is. But it's not impossible, so long as you're willing to crunch the numbers and make some sacrifices. I'll show you a step-by-step process for saving your first $100,000 in as little as 5 years. Yeah, you heard that right. While it won't be easy, it also doesn't have to be complicated. Let me show you what I mean. 1. Adjust your mindset. If you want to save $100,000, you're going to have to think and act differently than most people around you. Why is that? We overspend. We live beyond our means. So, before doing anything else, adjust your mindset. By which I mean sacrifice. That doesn't mean you can never drink a grande mocha again, but it means you can't buy Starbucks twice a day every day. It doesn't mean you can't own a car, but it means you probably shouldn't lease a new one every 30 months. If you're already not doing those things, amazing. If you've made all the financial sacrifices you can while still letting yourself enjoy life, after all, we're not total fun suckers over here, then jump ahead to step 2. But if you know you can be a bit loose with your bank account, then you need to get tough on yourself. You have to live beneath your means. If you are struggling to keep your spending in check, ask yourself why. Are you hanging out with people who make more money than you and can afford to spend more than you? Are you trying to keep up with a lifestyle you can't afford? Or do you not make enough money to cover all your bills? This is a very valid and all too common situation for many of us, and one that we'll address later. If you're not living within your means, you need to get this under control before you can aim to live beneath your means. 2. Establish your money goals. Once you've decided you want to live a frugal life, the next step is to set your money goals. The point is to plan a vision of where you want to go. There are plenty of ways you can get creative with this, but my favorite way is to visualize my goals. Many people do this with paying off debt, but it works just as well with savings goals. For example, Map Your Progress creates images to color in as you reach milestones for your goals. I've also used a vision board as a way to establish my money goals and get them down on paper. If you are more analytical and love a good spreadsheet, then build out your money goals in an Excel document. Ultimately, you just want some sort of documentation that you can refer back to in order to track your progress. 3. Swear off credit card debt. Having debt, credit card debt, student loans, is going to throw a wrench in your plan to save $100,000. Before you start saving your first $100,000, you need to get rid of your high-interest debt. Once you get rid of this debt, you can start working towards that big savings account. In the meantime, try your best not to take on any additional debt. While it can be tempting to continue borrowing money, it isn't going to get you any closer to your goal. 4. Create a budget. Before you know how much you can set aside, you'll need to know where you're spending your money. Then you can create a rough plan for how to reduce your spending and increase your saving. Yes, we're talking about the dreaded budget. But there are ways to make budgeting easier. You could use one of the many free or low-cost tools that will track your spending for you. Note that these resources each have their pros and cons, so do some research before committing to one. You Need a Budget, YNAB, for instance, requires more manual tracking, but it provides you with much more detail on your spending. It all depends on how much time you want to invest in budgeting. 5. Save, save, save. By now you've figured out the first steps, and you've created a budget. Now it's time to start saving that $100,000. To do this, especially in 5 years, you'll have to be aggressive with your saving. Remember when I said, adjust your mindset? Well, this is it. 401k. For starters, look into your company's 401k plan. If they have one, sign up now. You can contribute up to $20,500 for the 2022 year, $22,500 for 2023. Figure out what percentage of your check you need to take out to add up to $20,500 by the end of the year. Then take that percentage out of every paycheck. For example, let's say you make $40,000 per year. $20,500 divided by $40,000 equals 51%. So you'd need to sock away 51% of your gross income to reach this milestone. Yes, 51% is a lot. Far more than what most millennials and Gen Zs can afford if they live on their own. But the good news is, you don't have to max out to save $100,000. Not even close to that, in fact. I'll show you the math below, but for now, Just know that something is better than nothing. If you can max it out, go for it. But don't think you're doomed if you can't right now. But be sure you don't go over $20,500 in personal contributions, or you may get hit with penalties. Your total contribution maximum, or your and your employer's contributions, is either $61,000 or 100% of your salary, whichever's less. And an important note, our math doesn't take into consideration company matches, so you might not have to contribute that much to hit $20,500 in total contributions. 6. Keep saving, even if it isn't as much as you planned. At this point, you might be thinking it's not realistic to be able to save even close to $26,500 per year. But, as we pointed out above, that shouldn't stop you from trying. Even just half of that will still get you close to $100,000 in 5 years. Even if you still can't afford to put away that much money in savings, start somewhere. Put away as much as you can afford. It might take you longer to reach your goal, but it's better to have some savings than no savings. It will still challenge you to think outside of the box, though. Remember, you may need to think differently than you have been so far. While saving $100,000 seems daunting, it's not impossible if you put your mind and your money to it. You do have the ability to save more money than you think, and even retire early. You just have to want it and be willing to do what it takes to get there.